Hello guys, welcome to another video. The Lament of an Immortal, Worlds Collide by Ch18. Chapter 18. The corrupted deity. A thick mist was dissipating before the sight of a light blue-haired girl. She could not know the current situation. Seal, the conscious entity, the unique ability that Rimuru possessed manifested in a corporeal state, was in front of two imposing beings. So you are Seal, the unique ability of the Star King's heir. Wisdom in personification. Welcome to the divine realm. The supreme being of creation pointed at him with a slight bow. Where am I? She said worriedly, looking in all directions looking for Rimuru, but quickly noticed a familiar face. Guy Crimson? I see you're a bit confused. I'm sorry for bringing you without your consent, little one, but it was something we had to do, was heard behind Seal. A warm and gentle aura could be felt at the moment. It was a white-haired old woman with blue eyes dressed in a white kimono. It's good to see you again, Toki, the red-haired boy remarked. Sorry for the commotion, but we had to keep you from interfering in the conflict, pointed out the goddess of time and space, as she sat down next to Seal. Give me back to Rimuru, Seal said, annoyed, but was interrupted by Guy. No, Guy pointed out as he continued to watch the conflict through the television in front of them. Give me back to Rimuru, insisted the blue-haired girl. He broke away from you, it was his decision, Guy pointed out somewhat seriously as he watched Azusa slowly transform into a corrupted deity. But, Seal expressed as he watched with awe the transformation of his beloved's former partner. Besides, this path he forged is the result of his disastrous decision-making. Arbitrary conflicts in several worlds, the fall of several of them, the suffering of countless lives, the fall of a god in a senso. But above all, the broken heart of his beloved. All that is his responsibility. He will have to live with that, Guy affirmed while not taking his eyes off the screen. But, such a battle is, Seal pointed out worriedly. I know it's painful, little one, but this is something they have to solve by themselves, affirmed the goddess of time and space while putting her hands on Ciel's shoulders. By the way, Toki, how is your apprentice doing? Guy questioned, somewhat curious without taking his eyes off the screen. The girl is doing well, her determination to make amends for her mistakes is outstanding, he affirmed with a slight laugh. A presence of death could be felt at that moment, an uneasiness in the chest that could be felt by all present. Spirits, goblins and more individuals who were in the conflict could feel this uneasiness. The fall of a deity and the rise of an uncontrolled force of chaos was arising in the surroundings of that world. Master, Ignia pointed out, Yumini just let out 2 tears in sadness for what happened, while Nerida worriedly tried to run away from the conflict to be together with the one she called her precious granddaughter. Stop, you won't run away so easily, Carrera affirmed, laughing, at the same time that in his hand contained a nuclear explosion about to detonate. However, said explosion was slowly beginning to shrink. It was not for less. Ignia, the spirit of fire, was absorbing said attack. Go now, Nerida, she pointed out as she used her abilities to absorb Carrera's attack. Not so fast, pointed out in unison Testarossa and Ultima, both of which crossed the path of the water spirit. However, a torrent of crystal clear water manifested itself between the two and making them retreat. In that instant that the girls had been distracted, Nerida took advantage and flew out between the two towards where her master and his precious granddaughter were. In another part of the conflict, the Babylon sisters were talking to each other. Sisters, the master is, Monica pointed out, but Seska spoke up. Our priority is the protection of civilians and keeping the enemy at bay. Don't be distracted, Seska stated with an air of sadness in her voice, as she destroyed one of her opponent's goblin riders with her sniper rifle. On the other side of the battle, in a duel of forces that resounded relentlessly, 2 opponents on equal footing ceased their attacks for a moment, the girl in a maid's outfit and the named sworn brother taking notice of the situation. Boy, girl, have you? Expressed the servant girl with slight concern, looking towards where the battle between deities was. Why, the Harvest Festival can only be done by the. No, this is the Harvest Festival, it's different. She is, pointed out Veldora somewhat thoughtfully. Harvest Festival? What are you trying to say? Toru questioned, turning to look at his opponent. The Harvest Festival is the process that involves certain conditions for some living being to evolve to true Demon King. In Rimuru's case, he had to capture 10,000 souls from an invading army to reach that title, but this. No, this is different but similar at the same time, pointed out Veldora, turning to look at Toru. They used human souls to increase their power? How despicable and dastardly can they be? Wait, you mean Azusa is transforming? Continued to question the girl. No, it's the incursions in the invasions to other worlds by our army have led to the death of immeasurable lives. I suppose that all those souls have been following Rimuru's shadow because of the rancor and hatred they feel. It's a hypothesis, but Veldora replied with an astonished face. But the bond that Rimuru and Azusa have, the connection between them, surely those souls felt that connection and were drawn to Azusa like a beacon, pointed out Veldora. What do you mean? Pointed out the girl. You mean that those souls of the fallen warriors of the worlds we destroyed took control of the Lady Azusa? Benimaru questioned the silver-haired girl. It is a hypothesis, but it is probable. In this vast universe where there are countless worlds, there are times when souls become corrupted, when there is an accumulation of bad feelings and negative energies. If Rimuru and Azusa have a connection as you say, then those souls that followed Rimuru felt it and so they corrupted her. Since this started, Azusa has been blaming herself for what happened, and inside her a feeling of pain, sadness and despair has grown, and now that she saw how Rimuru killed the boy who tried to help her, those emotions got out of control, pointed out Miles seriously while she kept looking in the direction of where Rimuru and Azusa were. We have to do something, pointed out the elven girl. It's ironic, you know, Rimuru started this to bring back his beloved Smile, and in the end his actions led him to be the one responsible for turning her into a corrupted goddess, pointed out Mile in a melancholic way. We have to go with them, pointed out Benimaru, trying to fly away, but he was stopped by Mile. If we want to help them, we'd better focus on stopping your friends. For every soul that falls, Azusa's power will increase, and we don't know to what degree it will increase. Or if there will be a way to return her to normal. Keep that in mind, affirmed Mile, seeing the battle that continued. And after such words, Benimaru remembered what Rimuru had told him when he found out what happened to his daughters. Azusa had to kill her daughters in order to stop them. They used the last vestige of sanity to stop and implore their mother to kill them in order to stop them, as they were terribly devastated by the atrocities they committed. I just hope the same story is not repeated with Mrs. Azusa, stated Benimaru. Nerida, one of the spirit servants at Tuya's command, had arrived to help him. Seeing him badly wounded, she tried to give him some of her mana so he could regain consciousness, but it was impossible. His heart had been pierced by the demon lord's sword. Is it over? Was it the end? He wondered as he wiped the face of his once master. No. It can't end like this, can it? She said to herself as she hugged the body lying in front of her. You have to recover. She is waiting for you. You are the only one who can help her in those moments. An immense energy could be felt in the atmosphere. Feelings of anger and thirst for revenge manifested themselves in a spiral of wind and crimson mist that enveloped the surroundings. Within it the recently named smallest goddess, corrupted goddess, Azusa. Azusa! The demon lord shouted worriedly. But quickly a crimson aura came in front of him and hit him in the face, projecting him 100 meters backwards. Was heard as a demonic scream from Azusa's mouth. Quickly Rimuru stood up, but frightened to see his former love behaving like that. He could feel it. Azusa's despair, anguish and pain had left her susceptible to something like this. He could see it. Before his eyes he could see how thousands of crimson flashes covered Azusa's body. Countless souls were corrupting his beloved's heart. GGGGGGGRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRRR Please, stop, I know you can hear me, Azusa, fight it. You have to fight those souls. He spoke with a concern, trying to make his beloved one react, but there was little he could do. Azusa kept attacking Rimuru with her blows in a faster and faster way. Ruer was heard as Azusa channeled power into her hands and projected it against Rimuru. However, quickly Rimuru stood behind her, holding her tightly and soared into the air. Please, Azusa, react, I know you can hear me, Rimuru shouted in desperation. GGGGRRRRRRRR was heard from Azusa as she started to move in order to free herself, but something caught Rimuru's attention, a flash of sanity manifested in tears coming from the corrupted goddess. PPPP. Why? 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 Was heard faintly from Azusa's mouth. I'll figure it out, Azusa. Trust me, Rimuru said while still holding her tightly. But at that moment a growl came from Azusa, followed by a divine sinister aura coming from her body that severely burned Rimuru. Ah! Shouted the pain demon lord as he released his beloved and quickly walked away, which made red tears start to flow from her eyes. They were tears of blood, tears exactly like her daughter's before she ended their lives. Stop, Azusa. Stop, my child, a woman's scream was heard. It was Nerida, Azusa's named grandmother had arrived. GGRRRRRRR was heard from Azusa as she went to launch an attack against the water pillar spirit, but was stopped by Rimuru who was still not fully recovered. Azusa, react, Rimuru said insisting Azusa, but the latter launched a flare attack from her hand. Soon something caught Azusa's attention, a faint sound broke her concentration which made her calm down a bit. Lub-dub, she heard faintly, which caught her attention even more. Azusa, Nerida said in surprise. Lub-dub, sounded again. Azusa, Rimuru questioned. Lub-dub, 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 it intensified. Lub-dub, 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 was heard. Soon a silver flash that mowed down Rimuru and Nerida was present. A silver flash that reached towards where Azusa was located. Wake up, Azusa, please. This is not what you wanted. This is not you, was heard where Azusa was located. Slowly the light was starting to clear. Far away from the land of conflict, 3 subjects had arrived at the smallest but most outstanding nation of a world, an individual in a butler's suit accompanied by 2 individuals towards the arrival at the entrance of the Duchy of Brunhild. It is here, this is the place of the master's enemy, said one towards the others. Then let's start with, said another, but a voice stopped them. You should not be here, go back to your world. Servants of Tempest, was heard from a knight wearing a mask.